I'm going to give everyone a moment to join here. Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm joined by some of my colleagues, so I'll have them introduce themselves in a moment. But we're going to provide some more information about our pharmacy programs. At the end of the presentation, we will do a short Q&A, and if anyone has any questions, we'll be happy to answer them. If you can just type them into the Q&A box that's available on the screen, and then we'll answer them at the end here. Please do not use the chat if possible. So my name is Julie Challoner. I am the Associate Director here at MCPHS. I oversee the Accelerated Pharmacy Program for Worcester, as well as help out with Manchester. And I'm joined by my colleague, Ryan. So I'll have him introduce himself next.
Yeah, I'm Ryan Dana. I'm an assistant director over on the Boston campus. I do work specifically with pharmacy students, so I'm sure I might be working with a lot of you going forward.
And then we are also joined by two students today. So I will have Marjorie and then Emma introduce themselves.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marjorie Delorier, and I am a P3 student from the Manchester, New Hampshire campus in the Accelerated PharmD program.
Hi, everyone. My name's Emma, and I am a P2 student over on the Boston campus.
So in terms of pharmacy itself, really the healthcare industry has grown exponentially over the last few years. As you can see there, 1/3 of all new jobs created through 2026 will be in the healthcare industry. You know, healthcare is one of the largest employers in the United States. And really, a pharmacist is a great job to have. It's one of the top healthcare jobs. We are a healthcare university, a life science university. So all of our students attend some program here that focuses on giving back to the community and integrating with healthcare. So you'll be well versed in all healthcare professions as well as pharmacy if you attend one of our programs. In terms of pharmacy itself, there's just some quick facts there in terms of the median annual wage for a pharmacist. But the things that we like to highlight is that we are one of the top 5 best pharmaceutical schools here, according to College Factual, and we also are a great return on your investment. So as we all know, attending pharmacy school or any graduate program for that matter is a big investment in terms of time and money. So we want our students to know that they will see a return on that investment once they do graduate.
And some other facts about the school. So we are actually celebrating our bicentennial still this year. We've been educating pharmacists for 200 years now. But at this point, it's much more than just a pharmacy school. As Julie mentioned, we're a healthcare university, so we do have over 100 different programs spanning across healthcare at this point. We do have over 7,000 total students between our 3 campuses, and we're represented by every state in the US and over 100 different countries. So we do have a very diverse population. And regardless of what campus you attend, we do have a number of great clinical affiliations, some of which you may be familiar with that are on the screen here. But again, there's a number of great facilities regardless of the campus that you do attend.
So one of the things that we're really big on here at MCPHS is interprofessional education, or IPE for short. Again, as I mentioned previously, all of our programs focus on the life science or healthcare field. And so we want to provide our students with experiences that parallel the real team-based world of healthcare professionals. So as a pharmacist, you are not going to be working in a silo. You are going to be working with other healthcare professions as well as other pharmacists. So because, again, that we focus on those health sciences, we are able to bring students and faculty from our different disciplines, schools, and campuses together to kind of give them cross-pollination here and be able to learn from each other prior to getting out into the real world. So I know both of our students here have participated in IPE events. Emma, maybe you can talk about one of your favorite IPE events from the Boston experience, and then I'll turn it over to Marjorie to talk about it from the Accelerated experience.
Sure. My favorite thus far has been a We did a patient workup with some of our PA students, as well as our nursing students, to help diagnose, treat, and then work with the patient on medication adherence and the best way to take care of their disease states. We also worked with them on counseling and making sure that they are treated appropriately. Something I'm looking forward to in the future in my third professional year is something that we call OSCEs here on campus. And we work with the dental hygiene students over at the Tufts Medical Center, as well as PA students here and dental hygienist students here to treat a patient and do a full patient workup.
So one of my favorite IPE events that I participated in recently was this past summer, where we did naloxone training with the first year PA students, nursing, and we got to go through a case in terms of there was something the patient had a negative interaction, and we discussed like, okay, what could the PA have done differently? What could the nursing have done differently than the pharmacist? And we got to really learning from each other in terms of like their point of view in the treatment and our point of view. And it really helps us be able to navigate a patient experience better. And I definitely think that it helps us be able to provide better care in the future, because I'm on my advanced advanced rotations right now, and these interprofessional education events have really helped me be able to interact with the other interprofessionals in the spaces that I'm in, and set me up for success to do that.
And a little bit more about bringing the health sciences together. So again, we do have a number of different great facilities, regardless of campus, for internship and just clinical experience. At the Boston campus, we are located in the Longwood medical area, which is an international healthcare hub. So we're very fortunate that right in our own backyard, there's a number of great places for your hands-on experience. Some of them you may have heard of, Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, Harvard Medical School. There's over 70 rotations offered in total. And then just a little bit more about undergraduate research as well. There's a ton of different opportunities to engage in research. We have 646 individual clinical sites domestically, and also do have some connections internationally as well.
So it's in terms of what our students have access to, regardless of the campus you attend, whether you go to the four-year program in Boston or attend the accelerated program here in Worcester and Manchester. What we do have access to is everyone has access to the state-of-art facilities and labs, NATFLEX preparation through the curriculum. We have certificate programs available to students. We have an honors program available to students, depending on which campus you're on. We do offer dual degree options, but really, again, the opportunities are limitless in terms of research and things of that nature. One thing that our students are actively involved in is professional pharmacy clubs and organizations. They are available at all three of our campuses and are encouraged our students to join them to get interaction with other students in their cohort, or maybe students who are a little bit ahead of them in terms of their pharmacy education, or even with faculty advisors, or even mentors from outside the university. So I'm going to ask again, our students here, Marjorie and Emma, to go over kind of what organizations they may have been involved in terms of their time here at MCP.
Yeah, so I am a part of the American Pharmacists Association club here on the Manchester campus. So we have participated in a health fair that was held at the local YMCA that other clubs participated in. So I got to practice giving blood pressure readings to patients, which, yes, it's something a pharmacist does. And so we were able to provide education to patients on high blood pressure, and then also a different group was doing blood sugar readings, so helping patients understand what's a high blood sugar, what's a low blood sugar, and what that means. And additionally, I'm part of the Rho Chi Honor Society. So what we are doing right now is we are collaborating with two of the other clubs on our campus to be able to do a card signing day, where we did it last year for Valentine's Day. But what we're doing is we're going to be signing holiday cards and delivering them to the local retirement homes, just to be able to spread some holiday cheer to those that are in our surrounding community.
That was awesome. On the Boston campus, I am president of Drug Information Association, or DIA for short. We work more in the industry focused part of pharmacy on a global scale. So we talk a lot about pharmacovigilance, marketing of drugs, and how to get the drug approved through the FDA. So we just had a speaker come in to talk about drug safety and quality last week. And I'm very excited for our speaker next week, who is a fellow, who's going to talk about their process applying to their fellowship through MCPHS. And I'm also on the e-board for Lambda Kappa Sigma, which is a pharmacy fraternity on campus. And our goal is to elevate women in pharmacy. So one of the things that we're doing for that is we're having a networking event in the next couple of weeks with a couple of pharmacists in the area to get the members of our club ready to apply for residency and fellowship.
All right, and a little bit more about our different campuses. So as we've been talking about, we do have a location, of course, our original location in Boston was founded in 1823. So that's the one that's 200 years old. There's about 4,500 students at that campus. And again, there's a number of different, great facilities around us, being, an international hub of healthcare. Our second campus in Worcester, Massachusetts was founded in 2000. There's about 1,600 total students on that campus. It is centrally located within New England, as the second biggest city in New England, to really accommodate, again, a lot of different great healthcare clinical rotations. And then finally, our newest campus in Manchester, New Hampshire was founded in 2002. There's about 500 students total on that campus. And, it might be a little bit of a smaller city, but really is one of the growing hubs in the northern New England for as far as healthcare goes. All right, and then a little bit about our different programs. So on our Boston campus, we do have a direct entry PharmD program. So for this, students can really start, right out of high school and do the full 6-year program with us, or, they can join us anytime between then and our 4-year professional phase. We do run a 4-year professional phase, which has traditional fall and spring semesters. Summers are off on our Boston campus. Again, speaking about the pre-professional entry that is available, that would be year 1 and year 2 of the 6-year program. So whether you are, starting out there or you're ready for professional entry, both options are available in Boston. We do have a PharmD specific honors program that's also available on our Boston campus. And then again, we'll get into it a little bit more, but whether you're a freshman applying, or a transfer student, students do start in year 1, 2, and 3 of the 6-year track.
And then we do offer the accelerated program in Worcester and Manchester. So one thing you should know is the accelerated program is exactly the same on both the Worcester and Manchester campuses. In terms of the curriculum that is covered, they actually share one dean as well as one accreditation. So the only difference is physical campus itself in terms of where it's located. For the accelerated program, you do 2 years of didactic classroom-based learning and 10 months of advanced rotations for a total of 34 months. What that means is that there is a summer semester in both the first and second years in order to get that material in, unlike the Boston program, which has your traditional just fall and spring semesters. One thing you should know is regardless of the program that you attend, there are breaks built in, even in terms of the accelerated program. It's just going to have that extra summer semester, again, to be able to finish within those 34 months. We are professional entry only, so you do need to have the prerequisite courses completed in order to enter our program. If you're someone who's coming out of high school, or you are maybe currently in your first year of college and thinking about a pharmacy program, Boston may be your better option if you want to finish your prereqs before entering into a program, as they have a couple different options for students. But if you are looking to go straight into a pharmacy program, then you would need to have all of the courses completed. One final thing I'll say before we move on to really how to apply is that regardless of the program that you pick, we do ask you that you only apply to one program. I understand that you may be kind of thinking about a 4-year or an accelerated program and are not quite sure, but we do ask that you only submit one application. We can talk to you further about kind of the programs themselves and fits, in a later time. But PharmCast will be more than happy to take your fees for all 3 campuses, but we will not consider you for all 3 campuses. We also offer clinical rotations. So again, regardless of the program that you attend, you will be going on clinical rotations. There's 2 different types of rotations. You do your introductory pharmacy practice rotations, which we call the IPPs. And they're kind of like your introduction into what pharmacy is like, get you exposure. We do not require pharmacy experience to enter into any of our programs. So for many people, their only exposure to pharmacy is probably what you consider your traditional community pharmacy, where you're going to like a CVS or a Walgreens to pick up a prescription, or maybe to get your flu shot or your COVID booster at this time of year because it is fall. So we want to make sure that students get an overview of what a community pharmacist does, as well as what an institutional, or as we would consider it, like a hospital pharmacist does. And then towards the end of your program, you will do your advanced pharmacy practice experiences, or your APPEs. At this point, you've had a robust pharmacy education in terms of being in the classroom, you've done your IPPEs, so you have an idea of what pharmacists do in a day-to-day, and now you're going to be doing these much more intensive rotations that kind of cover a whole host of pharmacy here, as you can see listed out. We do have rotation sites for everyone. You're not required to go out and find your own rotation sites. But if there's some place that you're just dying to go and it's maybe not a site that we have, you can certainly talk to a clinical coordinator and they can see what they can do for you. So I know Marjorie is out on her APPEs currently, and she actually is doing a longitudinal APPE, so she can talk about that. And I know Emma mentioned that she's a P2, so she may have done an IPPE, or she may be getting ready to do one, and so she can talk about that. So we'll start with Marjorie.
Yeah, so I'm currently out on my APPEs. I'm halfway through my second one, and as Julie said, I'm doing a longitudinal, and I'm doing it at Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center. And so what that is I applied to Dartmouth to be able to do this long-term APPE. So I'm doing all of my six-week rotations at Dartmouth, so I'm able to stay in one health network, whereas some of my colleagues have to change where they are in their location every 6 weeks. And I'm really enjoying it. It's really awesome to be actually applying what I've been learning, and I've been able to do a lot of projects. I've worked with a lot of the higher ups within the pharmacy management at the Dartmouth Hitchcock Hospital, and it's really been spectacular to just put my education to the test and see and just get a taste of what it's going to be like after May when I finally graduate.
I completed it with community IPPE last summer, and it was a wonderful experience for me. I currently work in an institutional pharmacy, so it was great to get some community pharmacy experience. And I recently discovered I really love patient care, and I'm very grateful that the university gives us this opportunity to explore new realms of pharmacy that you wouldn't have considered before.
All right, and how to apply. So if you're looking for professional entry, you'd be applying through PharmCast regardless of the campus. Again, once you get to that point, make sure you do choose the campus you're most interested in, and only one. What PharmCast will end up needing is they'll need transcripts from every school you attended. Then they'll go ahead and verify those for us before sending it on to the counselors on your specific campus. For any international transcripts, you need a WES evaluation just to translate that to English and also evaluate it to US standards. We do require one letter of recommendation. That could be an academic source. It could be a professional source. You could submit more than one. If you do submit more than one, we do take a look at all of them. So if you have 2 or 3 that you'd like to submit, certainly doesn't hurt. There will be a personal statement that you'll have to write between 500 and 1,000 words. The prompt will be given to you through PharmCast, but that is part of the application process that you'll need to submit before we receive your materials. If you're an international student, we do need proof of English proficiency if you're a non-native English speaker. So that's something that we do accept a variety of different tests. There's actually a chart depending on the test that you are most interested in taking or maybe have taken to show you what score you do need for each of those individual tests. The PCAT is not required. Again, that is how you would submit a PharmCast for professional entry. If you're interested in applying to one of the pre-professional years on the Boston campus, it's actually really simple. In that case, you would just apply on our website and then you would submit your transcripts to us, and that's all you need. But everyone does fill out a PharmCast once they're ready for professional entry.
So we are open for fall of 2024, little typo right there, but it is fall of 24. And our deadline to apply will be June 1st of 2024. So pretty similar. The application is currently open through PharmCast. Again, if you are applying to the professional entry, you do need to apply via PharmCast for both the accelerated and the 4-year program. If you're somebody, again, who's looking to transfer into a pre-professional program or apply right out of high school, we have some other applications that you can use, internal apps and things like that. And Ryan would be happy to talk to you further about those at, in a one-on-one appointment. What do we look for? We're looking for competitive applicants. We're going to look at your overall GPA, your overall science GPA, as well as your prerequisite GPA. Things to keep in mind, we use PharmCast calculated GPAs. So what that means is that PharmCast takes all of your transcripts from all of the schools you attended, as well as every single class that you've taken for a letter grade and calculates out a GPA. So we're going to look at that GPA as opposed to just taking your highest grades or something like that if you're repeating a course. So just keep that in mind. We also are going to look at your interest for attending pharmacy school or your motivation for going into a healthcare profession. That's where you're going to include that in that personal prompt that Ryan mentioned, that 500-word or so prompt. We're going to be looking there. We're going to be looking at the experience that you've had. Now, as I mentioned previously, we do not require pharmacy experience. So we're looking at like all your experiences. What did you do in your collegiate career? Were you involved in maybe different extracurriculars, volunteer organizations, what maybe residence life, something like that on campus? Did you work? What kind of work did you have? Did you work full-time, part-time? Do you have other healthcare experiences, whether those are volunteer experiences or paid experiences? And again, we have many students who originally thought they were going to go into some other healthcare fields. So they worked as medical scribe or as a nursing assistant or things like that. Definitely list that out on your application. We will take that into consideration. Again, it doesn't have to be pharmacy specific. And then finally, we do have an interview for both programs. Interviews are by invite only. If you do qualify for an interview, you will receive information from Ryan or myself, or my colleague Courtney, who's not here today, about the interview process for that particular program. We do offer a lot of virtual interviews for the accelerated program. We do have some select on-campus dates, but primarily, we're offering virtual Zoom interviews for convenience for everyone because we know that not everybody is located in the New England area. If you do get invited to an interview, there is also a short writing prompt that you will receive more information on at that time. And then just finally, we do require a grade of C or higher for our prerequisites. Courses can be missing or in progress. Many of you may be finishing up an undergraduate degree right now. Of course, we're in the fall semester, probably taking courses. You can apply with those courses missing or in progress, but the expectation would be that you would complete any outstanding prerequisites prior to starting our program. And then just finally, we do have a 10-year limit on math and science courses. I always counsel any student who's thinking about applying to our program that may fall into that parameter. Maybe you're just outside the 10-year limit, or maybe you went to school a little bit ago. Definitely reach out to Ryan and myself, and we can counsel you further. Most of the time, our faculty committee evaluates these courses on a case-by-case basis, and we'll provide more information for you at that point.
All right, and for financial aid and scholarships. So every applicant is reviewed and considered for a merit scholarship at the same time they're reviewed for a decision. So if you are accepted to the program, you would receive your merit scholarship information at the same time. I would say always applying earlier on is a great option. There's typically more merit scholarship award money available the earlier you apply. So if you're thinking about starting with us, maybe fall 2024, now's a great time to apply, as soon as you're able to. As far as FAFSA goes, I would say it's a little bit different than maybe you've experienced in the last year, where instead of opening up in October, now it opens up in December. So you have a little bit of time before you would fill that out for the next academic year. So if you are looking at that, just keep in mind that it opens in December. So if you are planning on filling that out sooner is always good as well. That way, once you do receive your decision, once you have your scholarship information, as soon as we start releasing awards, I believe in February, you should receive something, kind of in that first group of students to receive their full financial aid package. If you have any questions about any of this, if you need any assistance in breaking down the cost and understanding really what the bottom line is going to be for you to attend the program year by year, we have affordability appointments that we can certainly schedule with you. They're usually probably about 30 minutes. We do them via Zoom as well. And again, it just really helps to maybe break down, the cost and familiarize yourself with, how your scholarship impacts the total cost for you, how your different, financial aid awards, whether they might be grants or loans, might impact you as well. And we can make sure that you really understand everything before you make, this commitment to us as well.
So we want to thank you for joining us here today. As you can see, there is our contact information. So as I mentioned previously, I am the contact for the Worcester program. My colleague Courtney is the contact for the Manchester program, and then Ryan is the contact for Boston. You can definitely feel free to reach out to any of us with any questions that you may have regarding the programs. We do one-on-one appointments, so you can just reach out and we'll send you some more information about signing up for those, about applying, anything there they may be. If you are an international student, I just want to preface that there may be some international students who have joined us today, and sometimes you guys have questions about visas and other things. We do have a wonderful international team that we can also get you in touch with as well. So definitely feel free to reach out to us and we'll get you in touch with them. If you are local to the area or you will be in the area and you would like to visit campus, there is a link for the Visit Us page there. Typically, we hold some open house events in the fall and spring, some open receptions and things like that. So all of those events will be posted on the Visit Us page, and we highly encourage you to sign up for those as well. In terms of, we did have a question, and again, if you have any questions, please pop them into the Q&A box and we will answer them live here. But we did have a question about, do we accept any type of credits for our prereqs? Yes, we accept credits from any accredited college or university. So regionally accredited, typically most four-year schools are going to be regionally accredited, particularly if you attend in person. Same thing with community colleges. If you just go on their website and look under accreditation, it will say what regional accrediting body. For example, in New England, it's like the Northeast Regional Accrediting Body, the New England Association of Colleges. As long as it's under that accreditation, we will accept it. Really, where people may run into a little bit of gray space is if you're taking online courses. Those are not always regionally accredited. But if you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to us, Ryan and myself. Just make sure to send us the name of the school that you are taking these courses from or that you have a question about, as then we'll be able to, answer those for you. So we have a question about what should be the grades be to be accepted into pharmacy school. I'll talk from an accelerated perspective, and then Ryan can mention from Boston. They are very similar for the most part. There's not a huge discrepancy between the two programs. We do require a grade of C or higher in all prerequisite courses, and that is for both programs here. We don't take C minuses, so keep that in mind. Typically, we don't have a minimum GPA for the accelerated program. However, our stronger applicants typically have an overall GPA and an overall science GPA of at least 2.7. But we do holistic admissions here. So we look, as I mentioned, all of those things that we talked about on the presentation previously. We do look at all of those things when making decisions in terms of the interview component. But if you're looking for like a number, I would say 2.7 and above is going to make you a more competitive applicant. Ryan?
Yeah, I would say it's very similar here, as you mentioned. I guess what I would add is, one, the higher your overall GPAs are, that can also contribute towards maybe, higher merit scholarship awards as well. So, always trying to maintain as high of a GPA as possible is great. And, certainly if you do fall a bit short of the 2.7 GPA in either overall or science, I still definitely recommend applying. As we mentioned, we do a holistic approach. Having some pharmacy or healthcare experience, or maybe just having a really good explanation of maybe a semester really dragging that GPA down. Those things can definitely happen. So I wouldn't let even a rough estimate of a 2.7 or higher, or lower stop you from applying. Again, that just I would say, as well as kind of what our stronger applicants might look like.
So is there a separate application process for students who already hold a degree? No. So the application process is the same whether or not you hold a degree. We do not require a degree for these programs. However, we do have a list of prerequisite courses that you can find on our website. If you have a US or Canadian, I would say English-speaking Canadian degree, we do not require the longer list of prereqs. So you'll see a shorter list that's like math and science based. It has your biologies, your chemistries, calculus, statistics, things like that. And then there's a longer list that includes like English and sociology and psychology and things like that. If you have a US or Canadian bachelor's degree, you only need to do the math and science. If you do not have one of those degrees, maybe you went to school outside the United States, maybe you went to school in Montreal area, or maybe you just did community college or just working to complete the prereqs, you would need to do the longer list. So that's really the only difference. I would say the only other difference is, again, relating back to the application process. Of course, if you are only doing community college coursework for the prerequisites, you're going to have less of an academic history than someone who has done a full bachelor's degree. So just keep that in mind. When you are applying, you may want to wait for fall grades to be released or something like that if you don't have a ton of coursework yet, just to make your application stronger. Let's see. Is there a spot on PharmCast to input courses that are going to be completed by a certain date? Yes, there is. I think you just fill it in when you're filling out the application. I think it goes by semesters. Again, we don't see the applicant side of the application, but when it comes through, it usually shows that information there. Keep in mind that self-reported, so PharmCast isn't going to be like checking your transcript to see that you actually enrolled in microbiology in the spring or something like that. So it's just things that you plan to take. I would counsel you, if you are missing a bunch of courses that you plan to take this spring or even this coming summer, definitely list them out. Otherwise, Ryan and myself will have no idea what your plan is for these courses, and we'll just assume that they are missing. There. Is the accelerated program recognized in Canada? Yes, it is recognized in Canada, and we do have a Canadian international counselor. Her name is Crystal Levesque, and she works with a couple other counselors in Canada, and she would be happy to talk to you more about Canada in general and what some of our students who have attended our programs and gone back to Canada have been doing since then. But yes, it is recognized in Canada. All right, do we have any other questions here? Oh, yeah, okay. All right. Ryan, can you just talk a little bit about if somebody is not, like if they are not applying to the professional phase, just about the application process as a transfer student?
Yeah, so, and is this for the SAT question?
Yes.
Okay. So as a freshman, if you have no college experience, we are test optional, so you can certainly submit an SAT or ACT score, and we can factor that in. I would say, typically if it's something that's positive for you, we do take it into consideration. If you didn't do so well, we actually don't take it into consideration. So it can really only help you if you do submit an SAT or ACT score, again, as a freshman. And then if you are a transfer student and you have, like your first year of school down, we actually really don't even look at your high school transcripts. We're really just looking at your college experience thus far. It depends on how many credits you have and exactly what the coursework is in. But typically, if you have a full year of college already complete, again, we're not really looking at the high school too much, maybe just to check on a couple key courses. But yeah, as far as test scores go, really, they only benefit you. So if you have SAT or ACT scores as a freshman applicant, I would recommend submitting them. It won't hurt you in any way.
If you're missing 1 or 2 prereqs, should you still apply? Yes. Regardless, this is for all programs, whether it's accelerated or non-accelerated, you should still apply to the program. Again, even if you don't have a plan for them, maybe you're missing calculus, you want to see, what is, are you going to be admitted to the program? Are you going to get an interview for the program before you kind of spend the money to enroll in that course? That is fine. You can leave them on for your application as long as you're aware that they are missing. Typically, we like all prerequisite courses to complete it with a grade of C or higher by August 1st. That is our preferred deadline. Really, we need the grade, I would say, typically August 15th, we're starting to get a little bit more closer to our orientation, but you will not be able to attend our program if you do not have the grade by our orientation date. We need to have something showing that you have completed this course to the satisfaction of that required grade. So it's good to plan for that August 1st deadline. But if you run into some issues, maybe summer session 2 is going late or something like that, that's when you would talk to your admissions counselor about that situation. The one thing I will mention, though, is that it's the same thing if you have all the prereqs, but you received a C- in one of the courses, and again, you're not sure when you're going to retake it. That's fine. Still apply. We'll make that decision at time of admission and let you know. When is early admission for pharmacy? So for the accelerated program, we do not have a priority deadline. It's just rolling admissions. We start reviewing applications once they come in, and we go until after our deadline on June 1st. I'll turn it over to Ryan to talk about Boston.
Yeah, for our professional entry, we're very similar. We're rolling admission, and we'll go right up through the June 1st PharmCast deadline as well, based on availability. That's also the case for our transfer students looking to enter into like either the first or second pre-professional year as well, if you do have college experience. Now on the freshman side, I don't work quite as closely with freshmen all the time, so I believe they have 3 separate dates. I believe it's November 1st, December 1st for as far as early action goes. And then I believe the last deadline is February 1st, if I'm not mistaken. So you do definitely want to, if you are a freshman looking to apply for this upcoming fall, you do definitely want to get on that now. You can still make, again, one of the early action, deadlines that are coming up, again, November 1st and December 1st. So I highly recommend, making it for one of those if at all possible. That way, you're getting everything out of the way early. Your chances of being admitted are usually a bit better, and also on the merit scholarship side, can tend to help out a little bit if you do make it in by early action deadlines.
And we also, if you are somebody who's falling into that freshman category, we also have a freshman team who works with all, who was a counselor. It would not be Ryan or myself if you are a true freshman, but they are, have the information, and they're going to be more knowledgeable on exactly, what do those scholarships look like, and also maybe some nuanced things that we didn't cover here today.
Yeah, I can really connect anyone with a freshman counselors. I work with them on campus quite a bit.
Are the prereqs of the program listed on the degree pathway list online? So all the prereqs are listed online. They're listed under the Boston program, and they're listed under the accelerated program. They're all listed there, exactly what is needed. If you have any questions on them, you can reach out to us, but a lot of them are pretty self-explanatory in terms of just general chemistries, general biologies, organic chemistries, things of that nature. But if you have any questions, particularly about the liberal arts requirements, if you fall in that category, feel free to reach out to us. All right, I'll give a couple more minutes to see if anybody else has any additional questions. While we're waiting to see if anything else comes through, I'm just going to ask Marjorie and Emma to talk about, in summary here, why they chose to attend MCPHS. One's in our 4-year program, one's in the accelerated program, so they kind of provide an idea behind that. So we'll start with Emma.
Thank you. So my story is a little bit more personal. My mom got diagnosed with cancer when I was 13, and she got treated right across the street at Dana-Farber, and a lot of her healthcare team was from MCPHS. So while going with her to treatment, I asked them a lot about the school, and I was so impressed with how they took care of my mom, and that is what inspired me to become a pharmacist and come to MCPHS Boston. And it's very inspiring to walk past Dana-Farber every morning on my way to school and remember why I did attend here.
Thank you.
Wow, I love that story, Emma. I knew I wanted to be a pharmacist when I was in my undergrad. I was getting a bachelor's in biological sciences and then pursued a master's in pharmacology. But I wanted to go and work first. And I also didn't really learn about pharmacy until I was in my undergraduate. So that's why I didn't pursue the Boston campus. So after I got my master's, I decided I wanted to go and work. And so I worked for an insurance company. And then COVID hit, and I realized I wanted to be providing care and caring for patients rather than on the other end of a phone call that could sometimes be negative, as we sometimes associate insurance to be. So I decided to pursue the accelerated because I was in my mid-20s and I knew I just want to get out there and work. So that's why I pursued the accelerated rather than the 4-year program. And I chose the Manchester campus because it's close to my home state of Vermont, and it had a lot of mountains and it just had what I liked. And the Manchester campus, as we described, is a little bit smaller. So I got to have that really close-knit relationships with my professors because there's fewer students to professors. So I really got to know them. And I just felt really at home at the Manchester campus and MCPHS in general.
Thank you so much. So it looks like at this point, no other questions have come in. I want to thank our 2 students here today. They shared some great information about their experiences at MCPHS, so we do appreciate that. Ryan and I, again, will be available for any questions that you may have, or again, Courtney, if you are interested in Manchester. And once again, if you do fall into that freshman or that international category, we are happy to get you in touch with the appropriate counselor for that. But we want to wish everyone a wonderful night, and we hope to see your applications come through soon.